Okay, so if you're jumping into this video, you might have watched by now the Blue Ridge kind of map overview as you're getting into exploring the Blue Ridge, Georgia market as an investor and exploring working with me and my team as your agent. So you probably watched that video, and then you may have also watched kind of what to look for in a short-term rental and the things I look at and think about as I'm evaluating prospective properties. In this video, we're going to talk about what you can expect from the Cushman Homes team. And to caveat that, depending on when you're watching this, you might be dealing just directly with me, or you may be interacting with another agent on my team, a partner of mine, or a transaction coordinator or an assistant. So this is the kind of these are the kind of principles and things that we have established as a team that we really emphasize and what separates us from other agents and teams and brokerages. And this is what you can expect. I'll go through kind of what we will do, what we won't do. I'll try not to just read these off word for word and add some color and context and also some personality. Obviously, this is just a bunch of long sentences in black and white. If you have interacted with any of my content outside of this, or watch any of my other videos, or if you know me personally, you know that I try to be a kind person and try to keep things relatively light and fun and relaxed and chill. So some of the stuff in writing might come across a little bit intense or cutthroat. It's not meant to be that way. Just over time, as I've interacted with tons of prospective clients and leads, people who have burned me and taken advantage of me and taken me away from my family when they probably shouldn't have. And then also really working with really great clients and having tons of great experiences have taught me over time that these are the things that are important to me and my business, and what allows me to provide the best service to as many people as possible. So if any of this comes across as kind of harsh or rude, I kind of ask that you assume the best in what I'm putting out here, and assume that this is coming from someone who does want to help people and wants to be kind and collaborative and all that jazz, but kind of establishing some boundaries and some guidelines that I found to be helpful. And if for whatever reason this doesn't fit for you, I totally understand. I'm not a fit for everyone. My team's not a fit for everyone, and that's totally okay. I'm a big believer in kind of growth mindset, the big pie. There's tons to go around, and I have a healthy business and plenty of people to work with, and so I'm not sweating it if this just isn't a good fit. All that said, lots of caveats there. I tend to be a little wordy, so let's move into this. So some of the things that you can expect from me and my team, I'll refer to the team throughout the rest of the video. We're going to communicate effectively. We're going to be accessible most days and times of the week. So you won't be surprised to see a late night text or a really early morning text. You can get us on the phone. You're going to get a lot of voice text. I personally love to use voice text because calls can be really disruptive, and voice texts allow for the context and the nuance that is sometimes necessary as you're navigating a real estate contract, but it's less invasive than a call. And in the Blue Ridge market, service can be spotty, and so often the voice text is kind of the sweet spot between a text and a call. And then email, of course. We're going to adapt our communication style to what you need as a client. So feel free to provide that, and we can be adaptable. Some agents won't be that way. Some agents are going to be old school and not want to text or not want to voice text and things like that. So we try to be adaptable. We try to leverage technology and the most modern technology. You can find me on Instagram, putting out a lot of helpful content there, and you can DM me as a client, and we'll be interacting in different ways. So I try to be very accessible, but also still protecting time for my family. So I'm still a human being. I've got 2 little kids, the second one on the way right now when this video is being recorded in January of 2022. And I have a wife that I really enjoy being around, and a family, and most of the people on my team have a similar dynamic as well. So we are still human beings, and we're not just Google searches and information kind of robots, right? So we keep that in mind, and also understand that you're human, and so there's some give and some understanding there. And I'll touch more on being nice over on the other side with what we won't do. You've probably read through all of this already as I'm blabbering here. The second piece is, and I think probably the most important piece, arguably the most important piece, is that in a competitive market like the one we're in, we really try to give you every edge that we can to win the deal. So I have built really strong relationships with list agents, and this comes through as you do deals with agents and you take a contract from offer to close and you do a good job throughout the process. Agents naturally kind of build relationships, you build a reputation, and that's something that I take very seriously and really try to consider as I navigate every contract, that I don't burn bridges with agents, and I really make it collaborative and a partnership. We're all trying to get the deal done, but make sure that everyone feels like it's fair and that they're getting what they need, and also always kind of balancing that with making sure that my clients' best interests are protected. And I really try to toe that line, and that I think takes a really high level of emotional intelligence and also intellectual intelligence to know how to draw that line, how to balance that so that you protect your clients now, but also in the future by kind of navigating those deals. And that's something I really focus on and try to do. And I think that actually has a huge advantage in the market as you're going to compete on offers. If all else equal, the agent who is trusted and has a good reputation will often get the deal. So that's a big, big deal. As I'm going through and writing offers every week and losing offers, I lose a lot of offers too. I don't win them all. I'm always asking for feedback, like, hey, if I try to get as much information as I can. What was the winning bid? Where did we rank? Things like that. What were the terms? Any feedback on our terms or our offer? And so I'm constantly iterating and evaluating, getting like real-time feedback, and I'm not getting stuck. I'm not doing what I used to do 6 months ago, because that wouldn't work. I'm adapting and adjusting, and you got to have an agent who's learning, adjusting, and adapting, and willing to be flexible, because that's how you're going to win deals. The other bullet point, yeah, I'm constantly seeking out, like trying to learn new ways. I'm picking up things from other agents. I'm talking to other agents in other markets, and I'm learning strategies. I'm constantly reading, listening to podcasts, and challenging myself and learning what are the ways that I can throw in a line in the special stipulations that strengthens our offer. Things that try to get in the mindset of the seller and understand, what can I do to make this offer more competitive? Those are the things I think about so that you don't have to as a client, and I can help you win that deal as quickly as possible. And then I also just make sure that I work with the best closing attorneys, inspectors, and loan officers so that your process is as smooth and seamless as possible, and that also other agents know that I have this team that most often my buyers are working with that is going to make the transactions good. So that goes back to kind of the reputation and making sure that the deals are smooth for everyone. So that's super important and underrated. I'm going to be honest. So looking at bullet point number 3, you're going to have an honest partner. I'm going to close this so we don't get pop-ups here. You're going to have someone that's going to be an honest and strategic partner. So I'm going to tell you if I think a property sucks, and I don't really care if you decide to move forward on it anyway, because at the end of the day, I'm giving you as much information or perspective as I can as an agent. But then ultimately, I'm just representing your interests, your best interests. So if you decide against my feedback that property is right for you, I'm going to move forward and support you. But I will be honest if you want that. So I try to balance, giving you unsolicited advice, but also, not giving you too much unsolicited advice where it gets annoying, but also giving you my feedback as is warranted and wanted. And really being honest. I'm not trying to push every deal to close. I'm not trying to push everyone to just buy the quickest, easiest deal. I really want my people to be protected, have a great experience, feel like I was honest and trustworthy partner with them, as if I was their brother or their friend, kind of giving them advice on if it were me type of thing. But then also always kind of deferring back to my role, which is to represent you and what you tell me to do, right? So I fortunately have the perspective of being a fellow investor in the market. So there's some insight there and some natural kind of intuition and understanding about the market and a property in a neighborhood in an area that you wouldn't find from someone who's not also an investor in the market. And generally that helps me, between all those things, I'm also have a really good sense for where I think a property will land as far as list price versus what it goes under contract for. And I'll be honest about like, hey, I don't know, I'm not a wizard, I don't know everything, but here's where I think it'll land, and this is what I think you need to do to get the offer. And I'm not going to try and you kind of have to take my word for it, but I'm not going to try and overextend you to get a little extra commission because your price is higher or anything like that. I'm really going to do my best to give you the information you need to get the deal. And then if that goes beyond your comfort level, I'm not going to push you beyond that, but I will be honest about, hey, I don't think that's enough, but let's try it. And that's totally cool. There's only so much you can do as a client if you're working within a certain budget or certain comfort level. And I'll challenge you and I'll push you and provide feedback, but I'll never kind of make you do something you're not comfortable with or that you don't understand. The next thing is I think a unique quality that I provide to you that other agents won't, which is that I'm a fellow self-manager and short-term rental investor. And I have both the contacts, the resources, the list of local vendors and contractors to help you get started and really get your business off the ground. And you'll make your own relationships over time as you go under contract and go live. But I at least have the resources you need to get started. And then I'm also going to kind of be that one-to-one peer and friend and support. As you're going live and you're running into challenges, you'll find your own, Facebook groups and different resources and things like that. But you'll always have me as another resource and friend to get feedback off of or share ideas to optimize your short-term rental management experience. So over time, you'll see that I'm going to continue to create and bring together, curate content. I'm working on a course over time that will obviously be free to any of my clients that I may charge other people because I think I have a lot of value and knowledge to share, but my clients will have access to either little chunks or segments of that content as it gets created over time, stuff that's already existing. And then as it gets more professionally made and built, you'll have access to that for free, of course, as well. So there's lots more coming down the pipeline, but there's already a lot in place that I help with and provide value to my clients. So shifting to kind of what I won't do, I'll try not to spend quite as much time here. A couple of things real quick. And again, I don't want to like come across as a jerk or an overconfident agent, because I recognize that I really depend on you for my business and my income and your referrals and your support. But it's also this partnership. And I think some newer agents will kind of just take whatever they can get and kind of get used and abused. And I really think that the right agent, if you value that agent, should be treated as a peer, as a partner. And there's this give and take. And I'm at a place now where I do a dang good job and I take really good care of my people. And so I also have expectations about kind of how I want to work with clients and partners. And here's my little man coming in the room while I record this video. So a couple of things real quick on that. Cubby, you want to pop in the video real quick? Here's Cubby. This is Cubby, my little man. He's 2, and he's part of the reason why I have kind of boundaries about who I work with, because I also want to spend time with him and make sure that first and foremost I'm a good husband and father. So thanks for popping in, Cubby, as a prop for my video. Okay, so that being said, a couple of things that we kind of won't do. We won't work with mean people. So I have worked with mean people in the past, and it sucks. And I really try to be nice to everyone that I work with, like full stop all the time. If I ever mess up, I expect people to call me out. Certainly not perfect, but I really try to be nice to everyone, to clients, to vendors, to contractors, to other agents, to everyone. And at the end of the day, like, we're all human beings and we're people first. And then real estate is just work, and it's really important and exciting and I love it. But I'm a person first, and I expect people to treat me like a person. And if I get a sense that I'm working with someone that doesn't think that way and kind of wants to use and abuse me, that's just not a fit, and I don't want to work with people like that. So if that comes across as a turnoff, or you've gotten that feedback in the past, or you're looking to just kind of get some information out of me and then run, or kind of, blast me and do things that are just kind of disrespectful to me as a human being, just not interested in working together. And fortunately, I work with tons of nice people, and most people are really nice and good, and that's great. But on occasion, I've run into some jerks, and so I really don't want to work with any more of them. Okay, point number 2. This one I want to be really delicate about, but I think it's a really important one. So this one is I'm not going to just kind of show homes willy-nilly without a clear purpose, and I'll expound on this one. So there's a couple of things that influence the situation here. One is I think a couple of principles here. Number one is I want to support as many people as possible, and give them a great experience, and do things like be able to write up an offer quickly when we need to, answer questions that are really important, manage deadlines that are really urgent and important, answer questions, talk to more people on the phone that are really ready to jump in and dive in. Those are things that take time. And then I also, want to be with my family and things like that. And showing homes is one of the things that can suck up the most time and take me away from some of those other more important things. While it is important, showing homes that aren't kind of like with a lot of purpose can really suck up a lot of that valuable time. And point number 2 on this is the market moves so fast that like waiting to get a showing in a day or two might be too late. And sometimes with this particular region being such a spread out region, homes are often an hour or two from either where I live or where I'm at. Maybe I'm doing a showing in LJ and someone wants to make an offer on a property in Blairsville. That can be an hour and a half, 2-hour drive. Or Blue Ridge to Helen. This is a big region, right? So driving around all over town willy-nilly, just showing homes for fun it just doesn't fit the model and doesn't fit the market here. And then also the market's just moving so quick that time is super valuable, both for me as an agent, as a person, and then also for my clients who depend on me to get them the information they need and get offers written and sent and things like that. So not to mention, as I'm driving around, its coverage is really spotty. So if I'm driving around all the time, showing homes without a clear purpose, I'm often away from my phone, without service, and not accessible to clients as well. So I really try to be thoughtful, not in a I don't want to like show a home type of kind of mindset, but in a like I need to be thoughtful about, and we want to be thoughtful about when we do that and making sure that there's a clear purpose. So with that being said, typically how that plays out is you're either making an offer on a property and you're either meeting up in person to show that, or a lot of you are out of state. So I'm going and getting a video either right before or right as you're submitting the offer, or we're submitting an offer and then there's a day or two lag time between when the offer is accepted, or we're getting the offer accepted and maybe we have a day due diligence. A lot of time there's no due diligence right now, but it's during that time that we actually go through and get the video. So it's a little bit dynamic, but it's really centered around properties that you've seen the pictures, you've seen the docs, and I'll get to kind of how we work together from here. But then you're ready to make an offer and we're getting a video and a showing. It's totally understandable if for whatever reason, it kind of in a one-off or situation where you think you want to make an offer and then something about the video just doesn't fit. So a lot of times that has to do with maybe the neighborhood or the approach, and that is understandable. But frankly, most of the time it's kind of trusting the judgment of the area or knowing the location and saying, based on the pictures and the location, we should go ahead and move forward with an offer. There's really not a whole lot that I as an agent will see that beyond what's in the pictures or kind of in the documents about the condition of the home before an actual inspector goes through and kind of identifies there's some water damage here, or there's this system's not working, things like that. So again, not trying to say I'm never going to go show a home or record a video for you, but we really want to be intentional about that for the reasons I stated previously. The last point is we really don't work with people, and this kind of goes back to mean people, but it's different. We really won't work with people who don't respect our time. And I've outlined a couple of examples here that you can see, but the way this plays out is it totally happens where, we make mistakes as human beings or as clients and I guess agents or whatever. We certainly all make mistakes, and it's totally fine to kind of make mistakes here and there or cross the line here or there, as long as there's this kind of conversation about managing expectations and coming together and maybe acknowledging what we did wrong, things like that. I think where these items become an issue is if it's a repeated behavior or there was intent to kind of use and abuse and then hit and run sort of situation. And I can't necessarily judge intent right away, but as it plays out, these are the kinds of things that really just are a bummer in the real estate industry, and I really want to avoid situations where clients do some of these things. So just to throw out some examples, clients who come in with kind of no regard or respect for my expertise and judgment of the market, and don't trust me, and maybe think I'm just trying to get you to highball, and then want to throw in these ridiculous kind of lowball offers that are just really unrealistic and are losing multiple times and not listening. So maybe on the first offer too, there could be some kind of, hey, I want to get a feel for the market. I don't really trust you fully yet, so here's where I'm comfortable. And I'll say, I think we're off, but I'm going to send the offer. And then if there's not like some learning and some progress and kind of coming together, that's usually a signal that maybe we're not a good fit. And it's not necessarily that you're not respecting my time, but in some cases it is. And in other cases, maybe we're just not aligned and not a good fit, right? Point number 2, clients who just like blow me up at kind of really late at night, or on the weekends or holidays, where we all there's kind of this general understanding that this is a good time to, like Christmas, for example, or Easter or something like that, where maybe shouldn't be blowing up an agent. And especially if it's not like a super urgent pressing situation. Not to say like, I'm totally cool with like getting a text with, at any time of day, really just like, hey, sorry, I know it's late, but I'm just sending this while I'm thinking about it. I do that to my agents as well. So I'll send text at 11 p.m., but always with that caveat of like, hey, I'm sorry it's late, I'm just thinking about it right now. And oftentimes I'll kind of challenge myself to wait till the morning. But again, to emphasize, I'm cool with like a late night text or a weekend text. I work on the weekends, I work late at night, all that sort of stuff. But it's the kind of repeated behavior with kind of the vibe of not really being respectful and not acknowledging the other person on the other end, right? So this is the part where I kind of, again, really want to emphasize, I'm not trying to be a jerk or say I don't want to work with people, but I do want to be clear about some of the expectations or bad patterns I've seen as an agent. Another one is when clients kind of start to subtly blame the agent or kind of throw shade at the agent if you lose a deal or two, and like, and little comments, digs like, oh, maybe you're not the right agent, or maybe it's you, or things like that. This hasn't happened too often. Unfortunately, most of the time, as long as we can kind of get aligned, we can usually win after a couple of tries at most. But on occasion, it does happen just because you're going for the really competitive properties. And so having that trust, and a lot of these things kind of in this list are just like, sometimes we're just not a good fit, and that's totally fine. But other times it's, I'm doing the right thing, and then there's this kind of distrust or kind of shade being thrown my way, and often I'll kind of say, hey, I don't think this is a good fit. Let's kind of go our separate ways. And that's totally cool. No hard feelings in any of these situations. Even when people use and abuse me, and we both know it, it's like, I try not to carry around bad energy or make enemies. The real estate's a very relationship based world, and so even the people that kind of take advantage of me, I want them to leave feeling like there's no hard feelings, and and feeling like they may be inclined to come back sometime or send a friend my way. Or like, I do believe that every good thing that I put out can and will eventually come back. And I'm also okay with not kind of maximizing the dollar on every interaction and things like that. I understand that that's part of the deal here. And I also am interested in just kind of educating people and helping people along the way. So it really comes down to kind of the intent and the people who kind of know what they're doing and maliciously kind of take advantage, and that stuff I'm not cool with. And then I think the last one I'll call out is just like clients who are like blowing me up, hitting me up, asking a ton of, commitment and engagement and tons of energy and time, but then don't reciprocate when I maybe send them something they need to do and then ghost me or things like that. And so having that balance and that mutual respect of like, hey, we both expect things from each other and we're working together to get the deal done. Okay, this is a super long video. I wonder if anyone will actually watch it all the way through. But I'm recording it nonetheless. Okay, next steps. So assuming we're all clear on all this stuff, if we want to work together and move forward, this is kind of how it plays out. So so you're going to provide me your email address, your pre-approval letter, and or ask for or a lender recommendation to go get a pre-approval. And you're going to call and reach out to the lender to start that process. And then you're going to let me know your price range. From there, I'll set up client email alerts for you from a couple of MLS systems. We have multiple up here. So I always ask clients to go ahead and set up searches on Zillow and Realtor.com as well, so that we make sure between us, we're capturing everything. And then basically, we're just watching and kind of evaluating. Initially, there's maybe a little bit more back and forth about like maybe a couple extra questions. I'm totally understanding of that if you're new to the market and you need a little bit more hand holding up front. But then pretty quickly after looking at a few and having a couple of conversations, and if you've watched the videos, you'll start to get a sense for like, okay, this is a property I do want to make an offer on. So I'm going to text the listing to Connor, and I'm going to kind of clearly state like why I'm texting you. Like, I think I would like to make an offer on this, and here's the question or concern I would have that would keep me from making an offer. Then I can address those questions. And then if you still want to proceed based on those questions or concerns being addressed, then I will go to kind of step process, right, to make sure that I'm supporting clients as in kind of on a priority basis. If you want to proceed, then I'll go to the MLS, I'll pull the report and the docs, and I'll send you an email so you can review the property disclosure docs and call the HOA management company to confirm STR eligibility, things like that. And then from there, assuming you still want to proceed from there, I will then kind of confirm timing with the agent of offers and possible showing schedule, and going back to the showing conversation we had on the last slide. And then connect with you to discuss kind of the strategy and the timing and where I think it'll land and all that sort of stuff. And then once we're under contract, then the fun part begins. So that's kind of the step-by-step process. As we start to work together for more time, this will all be condensed into like, hey, I definitely want to make an offer on this. Go ahead and send me the docs and reach out to the agent. And that's kind of once we're actively submitting offers, and it speeds up. But on that first go around, or the first couple, as you're maybe a little more hesitant or timid, we'll probably follow that sequence of events. So I'm going to stop this here. I hope this is helpful so that you kind of have a realistic expectation of my boundaries and how I think I can be of value to you. I really believe that I provide a great service and do an awesome job. And I'd love to earn your business and your trust and work together. I really enjoy working with cool people. I get to do it a lot, and I hope you get to be one of those. And I look forward to working with you.